that I've been talking about forever and ever is finally here. The only holdup to this thing after all these months was me. I was just procrastinating and being lazy, but here it is now. And hopefully I can keep up on it every week, and hopefully you can get something out of it. Feel free to leave some comments and some discussion if you want. But today I wanted to look at our discipleship training that we're doing. And we're doing Explore the Bible through Lifeway, and we're just starting the book of Daniel this week. And so as I'm reading through these books, because I read through two of them, I read through the adult one, and then I read through the youth leader guide. And so as I'm reading through these books, a lot is in this first section, but there's one specific thing that kind of stuck in my head that I wanted to talk about, because it made me stop and think and do some self-analyzation, and I think we could all use that once in a while. And so we're in session 8, and the title of this session is Integrity Established. And the theme says it's believers can live with integrity when tempted to compromise. And so this is the first chapter of Daniel. And just a little background, Daniel is now in exile. The Babylonian Empire came in and invaded Judah and destroyed Judah, destroyed Jerusalem. So now Daniel and many others are in exile, and they're falling under Babylonian rule and empire now. And Daniel and his friends are basically being trained up to serve and work for the king. And part of that is you follow the king's rules and the king's laws and the way they do things. And so there was a lot of foods and wines that they're eating and drinking that he didn't want to drink, and he didn't want to eat. He didn't want to idolize their gods and follow their gods, because he believed in his one true God. And so Daniel didn't want to give up his integrity or his beliefs by being in this new area and under these new laws. And so if we look at Daniel chapter 1 verse 8, says, Daniel determined that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Daniel was determined. The literal translation of determined means he set his heart, or he set it upon his heart. And so he set it on his heart to hold fast to what he believed in God. And he didn't want to compromise those beliefs just because he was somewhere else living in some other area. And the line that really stuck out to me in the reading, and this is in the adult book, it says, the Lord's mighty power was not restricted to a geographic region. It was given to whomever followed him. So that's made me stop and think, how do I compromise my beliefs sometimes when I leave church? Because it's really easy to be in the sanctuary on Sunday, surrounded by fellow believers, and to be singing to God and to hear his word. And it's real easy to act Christ-like in that environment. But once we leave that environment, do we compromise our beliefs sometimes? Do we compromise our integrity? When we go back home and maybe we're surrounded by fellow family members that don't believe. When we go to work and we're surrounded by people that don't believe. When we get on Facebook and Instagram and we share a post or write a post, are we compromising our beliefs sometimes? When we're searching the interwebs, are we looking at stuff we shouldn't be looking at? Are we watching movies that we shouldn't be watching? So it made me kind of stop and look at my life and think, how am I compromising my beliefs outside of church? And it gave me great comfort to hear this, that the Lord's mighty power isn't just restricted to the sanctuary. It isn't just restricted to Sundays. His power follows me and follows us wherever we go, whatever situation we're in, whether it's a perfect situation or whether it's a situation where we're surrounded by horribly bad, unholy stuff. God's power is there with us. And we got to hold true. We got to set it upon our hearts to not compromise our beliefs. And so I want to challenge you guys this week to stop and look at your lives outside of church. See where you might be compromising, and just challenge you to not compromise that and to hold fast to what we believe in. Every day when we read our Bible, we should be getting something out of it, and we need to apply that to our lives in every situation. I just want to challenge you guys to set it upon your hearts to hold fast and not compromise. So I hope you can do that, and I hope you have a blessed rest